Relationships and love. I will like to give clarity what is love and what is a relationship. In my previous video, which I just published few days back, I spoke about relationship and trying to tell that this is based on our transactions and responsibilities, mutual dependency, and that's a relationship. But lot of people say no, relationship is when we fall in love, and when we love someone, then that's a relationship. So I'm going to explain what exactly is love. I also have a video on love, what exactly is love. So I now try to decode what is this love which we call love and what's a relationship. So love is what we call love, and then we say we are in a relationship because we love each other. Love is what do you see when you decide or when you say that I've fallen in love with someone? What is that to make you fall in love or get into a relationship? At a personal level, I'm not talking about the other level now. I'm only talking about between a girl and a boy. So generally, a boy will see how good looking she is. So it's about the looks, what he finds attractive in a girl. So if he has something which attracts that man or a boy, so that's one thing about a girl. And second thing, so this attractiveness is a mix of many things. So it's purely initially the initial attraction with for a man is about looks and the body language and everything else. So it's basically in the looks department and the figure and all that stuff. So it's a physical appearance of a girl, which is basically the major factor in attracting a particular man, a particular woman. And when it comes to a man, a woman, what will a woman look? Woman will basically try to find out other facts. Looks is one thing, but she will also try to find out what exactly this boy is doing, like his maybe qualification or if he's in a job. So what job, or if he's in a business, what kind of family, what I mean, it's like a monetary assessment. The monetary assessment capability of a man or a boy to be a provider of repute, so that she can trust that he can be a provider in his if they get into a relationship. So these are the main criteria, and then you talk about whether you get along and when you like ideas of life, what ideas, what kind of thought process. That's the next stage, and those thought processes are also only when they'll be aligned in certain areas, the key areas, because initially when you meet, you are generally looking at positives, because you are initially you are under the spell of that initial attraction. So the spell of initial attraction, you are not looking at flaws, you are looking at only positives. So when you are looking at positives, you are whatever you are discussing, the point of discussion is initial discussion. That's everything initially looks very exciting. What you see, what you hear, there is an initial euphoria about that initial excitement to see something new. When you go to a market, you go to a place, you see it for the first time, there is an initial excitement, because when you see it for the first time, there is it's like a mental stimulation which you have through the sensory. It's a sensory stimulation, nothing else. So the sensory stimulation makes you feel great, and you are kind of aligned to look enjoying that stimulation. So you're not looking at flaws in that. So that is what we say is kind of love, or and then you become possessiveness. So once you get into a relationship, then you get into a possessiveness or acquisition, like you have acquired something. So there is always the urge to acquire, and if you see, men don't men are not very materialistic, acquiring materialistically, because they have very limited choice. They'll probably acquire a vehicle, car, or a bike, or some shoes, or some other gadgets. But for women, the world is huge. If you go to a mall, I think 80% of the shops belong to women. So women will also get into acquisition. So we have this inherent tendency to acquire. So we want to acquire something which we like. It can be for a man, it can be a woman. For women, it can be a man. And it's a tendency to acquire. When I'm giving an analogy with other things, is because there's a tendency to go and shop, buy things. So that the tendency of acquiring and being possessive about various things. So this view of relationship in the modern times is more transactional, and it's very commoditized. We are all have been actually commoditized. We are like a commodity. We are not transacting at a human level, at humanity level, but the transactions are more at a very superfluous, materialistic surface level, and more towards a selfish level. So these decisions, which are based on deciding what you like, which man you like, which girl you like, is a very selfish, because it's based on your initial attraction. It's not based on the intrinsic value of the man or a woman. It is all external. So these are basically all external decision makers. And then when you say, okay, when I talk to a man or a woman and what kind of thinking he has, that gets into internal, but it's not complete. Initially, there is a inherent liking and there is an inherent attraction. So all the plus points are discussed and liked, and then you decide that, and then you become possessive, and that being possessive, attached, is what we call love. And obviously the physical, the lust, there's a lust, there is attachment, there is a possessiveness. These three things majorly what we call as love. And it's not based on humanity. It is not based on so these are the QRs, the qualitative and quantitative requirement to basically select a partner actually. So this is really not based on something. And if you really go back, I made a video on arranged marriages, and if you really go back, there is nothing called falling in love or getting into a relationship. Relationship is, you have to get into a relationship to start a family, and how you get into a relationship is not by these kind of decision making. It has if you look at the arranged marriage system in India, so they basically did a matchmaking between families, similar families and similar culture, so that it is easy to adjust, because the kind of development upbringing one person will have will be pretty similar. So that was a basis of aligning people, aligning a person. But today's world is so broken and so scattered. So that system is, even in India, it's fallen actually. It is, so now it's left to individual boy and a girl to find their own partners. So that's a problem. So if you really understand this exactly is not love. Love is should be unbiased and unconditional, and this should not be based on how you look, because looks will change as you age. Your looks will change. So maybe after 60 you will stop liking, because now you don't like the looks. I am 58. I'll be 60 in 2 years. So my looks have also must be changing. My physical appearance, the way I looked 30 years back, and the way I look today, there will be a world of difference. And if there is obesity and people become get wrinkles, so all that with all these physical changes happening, so probably they tend to dislike each other, because that attraction is waning out, because that physical attraction is naturally waning out. And so that attraction, or whatever you call love, also starts waning out, and you get into aggression and a friction. So the friction comes up, and also a lot of flaws come up. All your rigidity comes up, possessiveness increases, attachment increases, control increases. So there is a kind of friction which happens. So if you see how relationships go through like a sinusoidal wave, it goes through crests and troughs. So if you really understand what love is, what a relationship is, and what are human values, and what exactly is a family, what exactly is a marriage, if you really understand them well, then you can live your life very well. But if you don't understand what's a family, what's a marriage, what's love, and what's partnership, and how do you select somebody, and what is attraction and what is repulsion and why it happens, if you really go deep into it, you will then understand what you call a love and relationship, is it's completely wrongly defined, wrongly understood, and on that kind of these kind of wrong understanding take us towards misery. So the unhappiness is only an outcome of wrong understanding. And with wrong understanding, you have wrong perceptions, you have wrong processing of thoughts, because you have a wrong understanding. So the foundation is, when the foundation is wrong, so anything which is created above that foundation is going to be wrong, and obviously it will have a problem. So I thought I will elaborate on this part of relationship, mixing it with love and not understanding from a transaction point of view. Now, why do we say that we love spouse more than somebody else? Because there are transactions in all kind of relationship. You are in a relationship, you have a relationship with a friend, with families, with professional people in your profession. So there's some kind of relationship, different kind of relationship with different kind of intensity. So why is the intensity highest in a spouse? Because that's with anyone you spend maximum time, the relationship, the transactions are, number of transactions are more, number of dependencies more, the intensity and the quality and quantity of dependency on person with whom you're spending more time, and you have more responsibilities, mutual dependency, then obviously there are more transactions. When there are more transactions, so there is more dependency, then there is possessiveness, there is attachment. So that's why we say that I love, because you are constantly doing something. Two people in a relationship are constantly doing something for each other, and that's a responsibility. It's not that they're doing because they love. It's their responsibility, but that has to be done. Every action has to be filled with love. This is what we forget. We feel that we are doing it because we love, but we are not doing because we love, because we are responsible. See, understand the difference. But what you do should be filled with love. That should be unconditional, because every action should be filled with unconditional love. And we have to understand what exactly is love, and what is relationship, what are transaction, what are responsibilities. If there's no clarity on this, life will be miserable. Thank you.